Hey everyone,
Hello, how are you today?
I'm doing
Hi.
fine, Eliana. Thank you. Hey Stead,
Hey,
morning.
good
Hey Jack.
morning.
Howdy.
Hey, I'm trying to keep my video down for my bandwidth reasons, but I'm here. It's doing a whole lot of hanging up, so I'm gonna preserve some bandwidth.
I
Same
can
here.
I can turn mine off so it doesn't drag you down.
I don't know, right? Even if there are multiple people or if it's just a couple of folks in the call, I don't know. It's so dragging, so I'm keeping my video down. Let's give a few minutes for folks to join the call and welcome all once again. See a few people. Hey, Gemma.
Hi,
Good
Parth.
evening. Yeah. I know some of the folks here locally are probably be attending the NVIDIA GTC. Lot more interesting updates happening, in the background as we talk. It's a lot of interesting updates as usual around new AI factories and liquid cooling infrastructure. So it's good for the community. And of course, I'm not sure who else here got a chance to see what Jensen Huang from NVIDIA mentioned yesterday about, or their highlights about their systems allowing 45 degrees Celsius warm water. Uh, so which is great from the heat reuse perspective. So sharing those uh, sharing those updates from the GTC from NVIDIA happening out there. Hi, Steve.
Hello.
Hello. Got an email from Jaime that he might not be able to join, but we have some. Of course, he shared some notes on the talking points, which is great as usual. He's great. Let's see if David. Hmm, so there's Gabriel. Hey, Gabriel.
Hey, Broth. How you doing?
I'm doing fine, Gabriel. I'm keeping my video down for my bandwidth reasons, but I was saying hello earlier. I'm hello. That's gonna come back again, but I'm gonna go back to preserve some bandwidth. Well, I guess
Awesome.
before you were just joining, I was just talking about the NVIDIA GTC happening here and why some of the crowd might still be or could be there or probably be there. So you may not expect a lot of crowd locally here, I imagine, today, but we could give a minute and then we could get started, Gabriel. Okay, we can get started. So welcome everyone. This is our monthly call. Not sure if there are any new folks in the call. I see Rick, but all of them are pretty much familiar here. So I'm not going to go through what we do in this group here. Rather, we could get directly to the updates from the last month around these different work streams. I missed two of them, but I got updated by David and team on the side. But maybe we could for the benefit of the larger audience and who could be watching the video later, we could share the updates from last month, and what we would be focusing on in the upcoming month. Again, uh, coincides with the regional summit. We'll talk about that in a second. um, Gabriel, would you want to kick us off with reference designs, and maybe I could add in for David if he's not able to join.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for that, Broth. So yeah, on the reference design side of things, we have for now two main focuses still. The first one, as mentioned, is being led by Steve, as he's on the call as well. And it's I guess, diving deep, technical detail into a specific use case for heat reuse, which is water treatment and desal. Something that, of course, would take advantage of that 24/7 year-round requirement, um, instead of other heat reuse applications that kind of struggle to kick off because of that seasonality. So Steve's been very engaged on that front. We got some more uh, people kind of on board, in and out throughout the sessions. In the last one, we had some more input from Anne and another person who her name's escaping me right now, but she's been very helpful. And the other side of things is, as I mentioned, I think this will be interesting to discuss today, is this kind of project I have going on, which involves going out into the field and talking to real live applications of heat reuse. I'm trying to focus on bigger ones. So, like, I mean, my line in the sand, which is very flexible, is over 1 megawatt. But so far it's been, I've reached out to a few people. Anne has helped me with some of her contacts in Germany, and we have a few calls set up for the next month. So the next phase here is to kind of prepare questions. I would like to openly invite other leads to join me, because in talking to Jaime and talking to Petter last month, they were definitely very interested in this, and there's definitely a lot of questions that we can ask that are relevant for economics, policies, et cetera, et cetera. So I'll leave it off at that for now, but I just want to open it to the group to see who might be interested in joining and how we can work on this together.
Hey, thank you, Gabriel. So if I can add a couple things there. So part of this activity, you are planning to interview, or you are planning to interview a range of groups, right? Ranging from data center operators and also from the other side.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
I know we have an initial set of people that you wanted to interview, including some of our project leads and workstream leads. So maybe we could get a. I'm not trying to add work to us, but maybe we could add a form if in case people want to sign up. Hey, or anonymously. Hey, we would like to share this information. We have done this particular type of heat reuse installation, and we would like to share this information. Maybe we could get a Google form rollout in this group so people can add information, so that we could consider them in the interviews, if they want to share. Also wanted to you want to add anything there, Gabriel? Or
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you.
Yeah.
Just wanted to say that, like I started so far pretty rudimentary Excel, but I like the sound of forms. That could be even better. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm glad. I guess we are on the same page. Regarding another update on the reference design, I know, Steve, you were starting to talk about the desalination white paper. How is that coming out? Is it possible we could share the link to the crowd here, so they all have access to it? Because I or Jaime ideally wanted to share it in the OCP group so that everybody gets access, but for whatever reason, that we weren't able to do so. So if you are able to drop the link in this chat window, that will be helpful for people who can start contributing. Or if you wanted to add anything around that, I'm bringing that up because desalination, especially, of course, it's everywhere. It's a hot topic, but it's picking up speed with respect to water positive initiatives between different data center operators here, especially in the water-stricken regions. Especially, you can imagine Phoenix, Texas, California. So, and we do have a lot of data center operation there in Americas. I mean, so the water positive or the water conversations are starting to happen. So anyone, please feel free to put your hand up and start contributing. I'll stop there.
Gabe, do you want to put the link up in the chat? Since
Yeah, no worries.
since you're the owner and allows the permissions for who can edit and stuff like that. Although when I open it, it gives me a pop-up box if I want to add people who contribute.
Thanks
Okay.
again.
And I have added
That's
a few
great.
people.
Okay.
Based on, I think it was Anna's comments when we last met, I checked about the power consumption for RO versus the power consumption for a heat pump, and so I've dropped the the scenarios where you're using a heat pump to boost air cooled to drive the desalination because energetically it just doesn't make sense. You're better off keeping your air cooling and paying for an RO an RO system. So now we're basically down to liquid cooling and two-phase cooling to drive the desalination options. And I and I've done some modeling for that. So it's about 1.4 tons per hour or cubic meters per hour of water per megawatt of heat that you put in per effect. And if you have I'm looking at least a double effect evaporator. It depends on the delta T between the heat coming in and the ultimate cooling source, like if it's seawater or whatever. So we could probably get 3, maybe 4 effects practically out of a coastal operation. For example, it's when I say the delta T, this is actually the returning temperature going back to the data center. So if the data center is at 30 degrees, has to come back at 30 degrees, going as the cold side, and you got 20 degrees C cooling water, you can get 2 effects. If it's 40 degrees C and you got 10 degrees C water, then you can get up to 6 effects, and that starts becoming very interesting.
Very interesting, Steve. So again, Steve, um, you are you are you would be capturing all this part of the white paper, right? And
Yes, yes.
none of these are set in stones, right? There could be so, for example, there are still unanswered questions on what type of feed water access to this water desalination system, right? And do all the data centers really require water for its operation, or the new data centers or upcoming data centers? Do the community need water there, or is there a water goal in that community, or is this part of an arid region? So I guess there are a lot of elements that needs to be worked out in that white paper, and that includes the type of feed water that could be seawater or industrial water or oil and
Yeah.
waste.
One of the interesting applications would be maybe for recovering fresh water from either river water that's nearby or even from cooling tower blowdown. And I have modified the introduction and the executive summary to reflect those as possible sources of water to be as the source for the fresh water to be recovered from. Too many prepositions. Sorry about that.
Yep. So again, Steve, all I'm trying to highlight is there are a lot of elements that can be worked out on this white paper, including type of feed water, type of access, regions where it would actually it can actually, or where there is infrastructure readiness already there, where it might make sense. So we could do a little bit of mapping. So and that's where the open community, we could come in and collaborate from all different angles, from business angles and mapping, and of course from the technical side we could quantify, hey, these are the requirements, flow rate, or temperature. But then we have to fully identify all other elements. So yeah, thanks for sharing that links, or anybody who wants to take a look and start contributing, please request access, and you should be able to see the document. Thanks again.
Take a look at the table of contents, and you can see areas that are covered. A lot of it, there is a fair amount of overlap or copy and paste kind of stuff from the original reference design white paper. Obviously there are things that are going to be unique to the water stuff, but there's, in terms of general subject matter, there's a lot of similarity.
Yep. And those are for now placeholders, and we will, fully modify it.
Yep.
Thanks again, Steve, for leading that. Gabriel and Steve, anything else from reference design before we could talk about policy?
I was just gonna kind of add to your guys' points, which I think more and more as we move forward as a work stream, it'll be interesting to kind of point towards what applications are relevant in which situations. So kind of exactly what you were just saying, Bharath, around, where is the low hanging fruit for these? And I think specifically from reference design, we really want to give that amount of context, because of course the technical detail will be very relevant to each case study in each location.
Exactly.
But when it comes to, is this worth doing in this particular space or not, I think that's definitely a big question. And hopefully we'll get some insights from the interviews as well.
Yep, exactly, Gabriel. Thanks for pointing that out. And I guess that's where, again, our heat reuse group exactly comes in. Thank you to the group again. So we'll continue working. So moving forward, so after reference design, I guess before we talk about let's talk about the sorry, I had things mixed up in my head. So I want to talk about the policies, and I'm seeing if David is here in the call, or Peter. So not both of them are here, so that's okay. Hey, so regarding policies, I'm posting a link in the chat window in case people who are not able to join the call earlier this month. It's around the local regulation that's happening in US, talking about the Virginia regulation around heat reuse, which is a significant step towards data center sustainability and energy efficiency. And the bill was the bill is, I guess, I'm not able to use the right jargons, but you can go see that link. It's in the House, and you would have some recommendation coming out of this in early September, so you can see that. So I'm imagining there's a lot of back and forth going on, identifying and mapping what's happening in this space. So again, pointing out that the wave or the heat reuse is catching up from Europe to Americas, and that has to happen eventually, guys. Right? And eventually it will go from Virginia to California, Texas, Phoenix, wherever. So I'm glad we are tackling this as a group, in expectation or in expectation of these policies or regulation to turn up. So Any Steve or anyone wanted to add any color there?
Are you talking about the policy searcher?
Yep. No, not the policy uh, or the bill that was passed in the Virginia Assembly. Of course, Eliana, please feel free to chime in about the policy database. Uh, I wasn't in that call, so please feel free to add any updates regarding that.
We've done
Or-
a complete rewrite of the policy searcher so that we've done a complete update so that we can go in and I had a meeting with Petter to create a React front end, but we've updated how we can search worldwide for new policies or existing policies and find those and add them to the spreadsheet so that a human can go look at them directly, but it will search worldwide for policies that are existing or proposed. And it'll search in 17 different languages worldwide, or you can restrict it to new policies within a state or a country, and that will be available. So anyone has any questions, I would be absolutely delighted to show it or have anyone look at it and add to it. And that is going to be a definite addition.
That's great, Eliana. Like, you want to comment about any timeline or when we
So
would
the
be able
code,
to? Mhm.
it is currently up in the OCP repository. I'll be glad to share that link, and it has an easy install. The README will show you how to get it running in just a couple of lines.
Mhm.
But I would be happy to schedule a meeting with anybody to show them. But it's a natural language interface, just like you would chat with any other natural language chatbot, like like you would chat with ChatGPT or Claude or anything else. It is just ask it a question and off it goes. It will answer your questions or search for new policies. Anybody can chat with me or I can post that repository link, but it is up now. Does
That's
anybody have any
amazing.
questions on that?
I think it'd be great if you could put that link on the wiki.
On the wiki. Okay,
Yes,
great.
that would be helpful for anyone.
Mhm.
Does
But
she
also-
have permissions to do that?
So is that Jack?
Yeah. I don't know that she can put it on the wiki herself.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I see what you're saying. Okay. Yeah. That probably Jaime or team has to do at this point. But I see the point. Jack, this is similar to the economics tool that you and broader team are building. Like, how we put the Git repository back in that wiki. So anybody,
Right.
so I guess Steve is imagining similar like that. So anybody could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Yeah. So yeah, but that's a nice idea. And I guess that's how we would like to add it to the wiki so anybody could take a look and add information also, right? But yeah, we'll that's probably an action item for ourselves.
Aliana, this policy search tool, it's basically you give it a query and ask it, is there a policy for heat reuse in, I don't know, Singapore or something like that? Will the tool have the capability of also sending updates if somebody finds a new policy or something like that, that it gives a notification that, hey, this new policy just issued in some country?
So currently it is somebody asks a question and it will update the spreadsheet that David Gardner and I had talked about. And there is talk with David about having it run on a cron job. So I would be delighted to have that run on a cron so that it would run, say, weekly or monthly or on any schedule. And I have sent an email to David to talk about setting that up. I would love to do a demo about working with it because again, it's a natural language processing. You just talk with it and we can set that up to run automatically. And the ask currently has been that it update a spreadsheet, but it will also, as it's running, you get the screen will update. It'll show you what's going on and what it's found, and you can see it there as well as updating that spreadsheet. And there are options and possibilities that we would be glad to add to it as to where we can do that. But it is an option to add that to a spreadsheet. I mean, a cron job. It does not automatically go out and search for new things currently, but that is definitely a goal.
Excellent.
Stephen, if you'd like to chat with me later, I would be happy to show it to you.
Uh, how about we do it at the next policy meeting?
Okay.
Show the whole group.
Okay.
Uh,
Any
one,
other questions?
yeah, separate comment on the note that came out about the legislation in Virginia. I basically forwarded it on to a couple of contacts of mine in Maryland and Pennsylvania legislatures, and I urge anybody who's got contacts anywhere else do the same. Forward it on and ask, hey, is our state or our locality, whatever, promulgating any similar kind of legislation? And the one thing I added to my note was suggestion that they'll have legislation that mandates that new facilities should be heat reuse ready. So that's something to think about. And I think that if anyone wants to see the 3-line script I wrote, I'd be happy to share it.
Hey, thank you very much, Steve. Um, and thank you very much, Ariana. Great update. So we will tune up in the next monthly policies call for more updates. Moving on. So we talked about reference designs. We talked about policies. We have Jack here. Jack, would you want to give ourselves an update on the economics tool or economics workstream?
Sure. As of our last call last week, we pretty much have completed the white paper that describes the state that things are in. I'd like to go ahead and finish the formatting and whatnot and put that into review so we can, whatever's the OCP formal review, so that we can go ahead and get it published. The purpose of it was to describe the state of the tool and the state of what we're doing. The longer we wait to publish that, we will keep changing that state. We should probably then continue to write the next paper about how to further the tool as people have ideas on what they can add into it. In the last meeting, we also, I think, walked through as thoroughly as we could the actual use of the tool. Really was kind of live demo on the screen. I'm not certain how many people did it at their desk, but I don't think we have any reports back or feedback of any glitches or bugs or anything that would keep it from being put to full use now. And it is already listed in the wiki, so anyone who has access to the page, to the wiki page, can go ahead and use it, take it down out of GitHub and use it right now. Once again, the design of the tool has evolved from a set of worksheets in a spreadsheet workbook. It's in Python in a Jupyter notebook, and it is deliberately designed so that in a future, there are lots of functionality, tools, and other pieces that can be added to it really easily by people who can do those things. For people who just need to use it to get data, to get a snapshot of what their installation might look like, No coding of any kind is required. You do open it, you do click a button called Run All, but you don't have to do any coding of any kind. If you are in the middle between those two, if you have a different need for data, or if the data has changed, for example, the price of pipe or valves, it's very simple and straightforward to open up a data file, which is a CSV file, put in the simple numbers that you need to use instead of the ones that are there, close that file, and simply rerun the tool. So it meets the needs of people at a really wide range. And if you are a developer and you need special calculations done, I wouldn't need to tell you here because you are a developer and you know how to go in there and do those things. But it's all transparent, it's all in the open, no smoke and mirrors. So those parts are done. And what that I would hope to be able to request is a call to action at the summit. It's time to move it forward and to ask for those next pieces. Right now, we're in still the data collection phase where people like Gemma and Krister and a few others have gathered up literal equipment selections so that we have exact, not stochastic information to have the tool select the correct first heat exchanger and then pumps. And there's not much more in one of these systems, so that both the capital costs and then next the operating costs can be derived pretty quickly. In a future, we can do more sophisticated things, but we have to have this foundation to build on. And the foundation is just about done. Any questions about any of that? Cool.
Great update, Jack.
Thank you.
So yeah, team, please start using the tool. Try it, and please provide your feedback. And we want to incorporate those into the version 2 or version 1.0, however we want to call it. But yeah, hey, all your feedback would be useful from the data center side, from the from the heat exchanger vendor, or from the from the supplier side, from the off-taker side. Please try this tool and give your feedback to the group here. That would be really helpful. And I myself have to start playing with it. So yeah, all the developers here or whoever watching the recording later, please check out the tool. The Git is in the wiki.
Right. If it has a flaw and there's something broken about it, please break it now so that we can fix it and then really launch it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jack. Okay. I guess that's summing up the updates or the workstream updates. Gabriel, team, you wanted to add anything else on the workstream updates? I had one another item or a couple other items on my agenda. Nothing serious, but anything else you guys wanted to add before I move?
No, I think maybe just from my side, ahead of OCP EMEA, I don't know if that was one of the things you were going to bring up, but yeah, we can talk about that at the end if
Yes,
you
please.
have other
Yeah,
questions.
that's one of the items I had. Maybe we could start with that. And I also wanted to use the time. I see a couple new members in the call. I would like a chance to introduce them before we all drop off. So maybe Gabriel, we could do that quick introduction from the new members, and then we could gather the EMEA regional summit updates. I could start with Rajat. Hey, Rajat, would you want to come off camera? Are you able to? Let's see.
Hey Bharat, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you well.
Hi, thanks for the opportunity. Hi everyone, nice to meet you. Rajat Bhagat, I'm a mechanical engineer. I work in the AC consulting world. Just wanted to get in touch with Bharat a few weeks. I've known Bharat for a couple of years, but recently I have had some experience with the high grade heat reuse. So I thought might as well just find a way to connect to the OCP heat reuse workstream and maybe bring some experience. So thank you for the opportunity. I know the current focus is low grade heat reuse, but hopefully that scope expands. But really excited to be on this and looking forward to continued engagement. And I do recognize some more folks on the call. Nice to meet you, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Rajat. Thanks for joining. I hope you would be able to continue joining. But certainly, our group would like to expand into high-grade waste heat recovery from on-site fuel generation and those type of things. Certainly in our scope. So please continue joining these calls, and we would certainly get benefited by your expertise and how that expands into, like we talked about, right? Absorption, cooling, and so on. So that's we as a group has been always talking about it. So all the expertise, more conversations into that is more helpful. So
thanks, Brett. Yep, looking forward to it.
Yeah. Anyone else? I see Peter joining. Hey, Peter, thanks. Any new member here? I guess pretty much everyone or the usual suspects. Sorry if I missed anyone. Please feel free to put your hand up and introduce. Gabriel, we could, and Peter is also here, we could move towards EMEA regional updates and preparation or presentation towards that.
Yeah, so on my side, I think the presentation will be relatively simple compared to Petter and Jack, actually, who have a lot more to present. So yeah, I'll let maybe you guys start first, see where you want to focus, how you want to angle the presentation around the tools that you prepared, of course. Obviously, we don't want to get too much into the weeds, but be able to point to the value behind it, and how it can be used in practice. I think that'd be fantastic.
Thank you, Gabriel, and I agree. And we will have a discussion about this after this general call, or I hope for that one. I put together a template based on the template we already have received from the OCP, and so we could work on that. And this will be a very, very intense and super interesting event. And I'm saying that also to others here who might be there and want to join and listen, since it will be a shared presentation between the economics, policies, and ref design, and also showcasing of both a tool for the heat reuse project that we have now in Europe, and also the AI assisted tool that we are developing now for the policies project or workstream. So it will be a lot of content and quite intense, and all of that in 20 minutes. And we will need to submit it on Sunday. I think it's Sunday. So so the objective now is to get all of us to work on our separate parts, and just have one or two slides really per person, so that we can have also the actual tool presentations or live demos.
Petter, you mentioned discussion after this call. Is that on a calendar somewhere or a map, or is there a meeting set?
Well, that's a great question.
I think there was one before, and I've missed it, so I need to make sure. And otherwise, I'll just presume you've already done all the slides, and we can just go about our way.
I think
you can presume that if you want to.
I think Jaime hasn't sent an updated invitation. He had one for the last one, but he hasn't done one for this one. But this is a separate call, isn't it? Rather than having this now on the group call, I think we take this separately.
Yeah,
right. But we need
exactly.
to do it pretty soon.
Yeah. So I can send out a call for you on top of the hour for next hour in 20 minutes.
Okay.
Is there any other interest from anyone else in the group about what the heat reuse group is doing, or anything they'd like to know more about or share with us, or anything they've heard about that seems particularly interesting to the group right now while we have everyone here?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the heat reuse, where did it go? Oh, there. The heat reuse project is EU based or Europe based rather, and it's a heat matching platform for data centers, large scale data centers in this case, and large scale heat networks. So the idea is like any of these, there's been a number of tools like this throughout history, also one from the OCP. And the idea is simply to match the data center builds to to district heating networks. So as I said, there's been several attempts on this, but what differs this project from previous ones is that we have a large number of important organizations behind this. So we have the OCP, we have the EUDCA, we have Euroheat and Power, we have a Net Zero Innovation Hub, and we have other industry liaisons as well. And that means we also have a lot of members. So that is something that we really hope for and believe in, and it's also important for the European market. And when I say Europe, it's meant as a starting point, and it's run in Europe, but there is nothing that says this cannot be scaled up to also include other parts of the world. So North America, Asia, or Africa, or South America. So high hopes for this project, and it's run by EUDCA, and it's run very like a traditional waterfall model, really, over the course of 2 years. So it's moving not so fast in a way as I'm used to from more iterative projects, but it's really well grounded. So that's a good thing. There will be a talk on the 30th of March on heat reuse, and I can put a link to that in the chat when I stopped talking. And I will also put that on my own page on LinkedIn, of course. And feel free to link to this event from your own, say, LinkedIn web pages, because we really want as many as possible from the OCP to engage in this. We will need all the data we can get. As with all these projects, it's the same thing for the economics group, of course, for example. So and ref designs as well, I think. So we need all the data we can get from our members.
And with the same note on mine, there is actually a event that is being hosted by RISE, the Research Institute of Sweden, this week on the 19th of March. It might be a bit early for those of you in the US, so I apologize. I didn't set the time. It's early for me as well. About the Heatwise project they've been working on. So they're looking at the heat reuse, and they've got a whole morning of different topics that are going to be looking at waste heat recovery, from waste to value, heat transfer, all this sort of side of things as part of that, with many different speakers that's part of that. So I would also put an event to that. It's online and in person, but I'll stick a link to it in the chat as well. If anyone's interested, please feel free to have a look at that. And the link will be there now if anyone is interested.
Yeah.
It's grid symbiosis, integrating data centers into the energy ecosystem. So that will be this Thursday, starting very early for me, not so early for other people. Very early for the US, so apologies again. Okay. I think if everyone's finished, Barath, I think we're done for the day, potentially.
I guess, yes. Great update, Peter. Thanks again, Gemma. And thanks for sharing the link. I know we have 14 minutes. Gabriel, team, anything else that we would like to add, or should we use this time to, or would you like to use this time to review the slides or the discussion for the regional summit, or however would we want to do this? Please feel free to. But I guess we don't have a guest presentation. If people are waiting for that, we do not have one today, but we are hoping to have guest presentations after the regional summit. But that's pretty much what we have.
If you
Gabriel?
have the slides ready for review for the regional summit, I think that would be very handy since some of us won't be attending.
So yeah, so I'm
those
part of
slides
the
now.
I'm part of the gang who won't be able to travel, but but I imagine Gabriel, Gemma, Peter, and team, and Jaime, and Jack and team are working on it. I'm not sure if
We're not quite there yet. I think we'd probably be better off scheduling the update for that in the call following either following the presentation or following next week, Barath.
Sounds good, Gemma. Sorry if I was yeah.
It's okay.
Yep. Sounds good, team.
Yes, thank you, everyone. And if anyone is coming through Barcelona,
goodbye.
For the end of the month, end of April, for this event, please feel free to reach us, approach us. We're easy to talk to, and we definitely don't bite.
Unless you ask nicely, Gabriel.
Jesus.
Right.
All right.
And
Thank you.
sub-project leaders, we'll meet in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Speak
sounds
soon.
good.
Yeah. Thanks.
Bye.
Great. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
Thank
Take
you.
care.